Hey, it's Jay. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share some tropes that I hate. Some of them I despise more than others. And just like with anything, if a trope is done well, then there are a few exceptions, and I'll mention them, but for the most part, generally I don't like these tropes, and I will actively avoid them. Or mark a book down if it just suddenly appears out of nowhere. So the first one is arranged marriage. I know that in some cultures this is like the norm and stuff. That still doesn't mean like I like it personally. That's an opinion, of course. All this is an opinion. But like in fantasy books or something, if there's an arranged marriage, then I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. Like even if it has the potential to fall in love, like even if it has the potential for the two characters to fall in love, then I still don't really like it. An example of an exception to this is in The Selection, at least the first book, because at first, so it's like The Bachelor, right? And at first the main character is one of like 30-something girls that are vying for the prince's hand in marriage, and she wants nothing to do with it. And during one of the meetings with the prince one-on-one, she's like, listen, I don't want to be here, but please let me stay because my family needs money, and in exchange I will help you identify which girls are good and like would be good for you and would be a good queen. And like that kind of trade-off I like, and then it goes into them actually falling for each other. Like if it's done like that, then I love it. I give Selection 4.5 stars or something like that. I adored it. A random adult reveals they're related to the main character. I don't like this. Again, if it's done well, then I can like it. But it's just, it feels like the writer is throwing in that specific plot twist for absolutely no reason, with no hints leading up to it, no foreshadowing, and it just feels for the most part cheap. Insta love. I hate insta love. Not only is it cliched, and not only does my demisexual self not get it, it's just like not healthy and not long term, and it's just, as a teenager in YA books I can understand it as long as like it's made very clear that that is insta love and that it won't last for the most part. Like 99 out of 100 times that won't last. But for teenagers I can understand it, and so YA gets a pass with that up to like a certain age. Enemies to lovers. I know a lot of people love this trope. It's just not personally for me. I don't despise it, I just don't go for it. I think an exception would be with Percabeth, because in the first book Percy and Annabeth are kind of rivals, or at least Annabeth is rivaling with Percy because their parents, Aphrodite and Poseidon, didn't get along, and so like there's that little bit of enemy, but then it goes to friends, to best friends, to lovers, and so like with the first book at 12 years old, then exception. Fake dating, not necessarily anything wrong with this, it's not personally for me. Again, there's kind of that trade-off for the most part, but it's just not personally one that I will seek out. Love triangles. I think they're very cliche at this point and they're overdone. I hate the back and forth, and like I get kind of like having a crush on multiple people at once, but stringing them along isn't fair. The only exception to this love triangle thing is the Hunger Games with Katniss, Gale, and Peeta, because the whole Hunger Games series is like an allegory for multiple things. And like on the surface level the love triangle is, oh, which guy will she choose? But then like deeper, it's, will she choose peace and gentleness with Peeta, or will she choose war and anger with Gale? And so that love triangle works. The will they, won't they, or the back and forth makes me so angry, because after the first time or two of that happening, then I don't care anymore. I get annoyed by them. I don't care if they end up together. I just want it to end. I want them to make up their mind and move on with their lives. An example of this that made me furious was in Skin of the Night, where the main character didn't really want to date, and then the love interest did want a committed relationship, and the main character would go back and forth literally like every other chapter, and it annoyed me so much. I wanted to rip her head off. The token minority friend, I don't think there's as many of these nowadays as there was in the past, but this leads into like the trope of like burying your gays, of killing off the only black character, and then it gets really messy. And like minorities won't be with people that they can't relate to on some level. Like there's not gonna be just like one queer in the friend group. Most likely there's gonna be the one straight in the friend group, or like there's not gonna be one person of color in a friend group of whites. It's most likely gonna be most, if not all of them, consisting of POCs, especially like of the same race. Dumb blonde. This is very weird lighting. It's different lighting every time. I'm looking at myself right now on the screen. I am still a natural blonde, and as someone who takes pride in their intelligence, I hate the dumb blonde trope. Thankfully, I haven't really seen it a lot recently, but it's cliche, it's harmful, and I'm going deeper into this than I need to. In one of the, I think it was Heroes of Olympus books by Rick Riordan, Annabeth, who is blonde, was always talking about how people always underestimated her and she had to work harder for everyone to take her seriously, and like I personally related with that. And it offends me. Incest. I hate it. There's no excuse for it. Like, it's not a good thing both in real life and in fiction. Like Cassandra Clare, the whole like, are Jason Clare related thing? Oh, they're not actually related. Oh yes they are. Oh no they're not. And they're attracted to each other. Who knows if they're actually related? It's romanticizing incest, and I just hate it. Changing a girl's looks and her not reclaiming it and erasing her personality and expression, I hate that. Like if there's a stylist or something, and they completely like erase the girl's personality and changes her entire look, so that if she's unrecognizable to herself as well to people that do know her, I just really don't like that, because it's trying to change the girl, and that's like always been a message that you need to change for people in society for whatever reason, and that's just perpetrating that, and I don't like it. The penultimate one is the love story ends with the couple having or expecting children. As someone who plans on never having children unless I adopt in the future because there are too many orphans in the world, and B, who is topophobic, i.e. does not like anything having to do with pregnancy, I hate this trope. I read Punk 57 recently, and the two characters, the epilogue ended with them, with the lady being 6 months pregnant with her first child, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm rooting for them, and then that happened, I'm like, it's such a cliche. And like there's the cliche / trope of in TV series whenever they're running out of ideas for them to be expecting a baby, because oh, this gives us at least another season of chaos that can happen, and I hate it. Like, a couple can be happy together and live their lives together without having to produce. Like, there's already overpopulation, and it's just, I hate it. And then the last one, everyone dreams, or a lot of people, especially romantics, dream of finding their person, their soulmate or whatever. But what I hate is mates. Especially in ACOTAR. I haven't personally read this series because fairy smut doesn't appeal to me. But I know enough about it. Everything I know about that series, I know against my will. I know that there's mates, meaning that this person is literally like, you're literally bound to them and you can't escape them even if they're like abusive or whatever, and I hate it. It takes away each person in the relationship's choice of who to be with, because like, oh no, your genetics or your pheromones or something dictate that this is who you're supposed to be with, this is who you're supposed to procreate with. Like, I'm a romantic, I would like to believe that there is a person out there that is my person, or that there are multiple people out there that have the potential to be my person, but being with them has to be my choice, and like the idea of mates just infuriates me. That's all I've got for today. Tell me down in the comments what tropes you hate, because I might agree with you and just not realize it. I might have another video with more that I don't like as I read more books. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I upload. I upload every Saturday, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.